Hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of the Rogers Radio Podcast. I am your host, Alyssa Rogers, and as you see, we're on the road in a really cool place. Have you seen this place before? Where are we? We are at Springfield Distillery in the tasting room. It's a family affair. We're going to have a great time today. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for coming. Yes, thanks for having us here. I'm super excited to learn all the things about Springfield, and so everyone else can learn all the things about Springfield. So they come here over the holidays and all the amazing things you have going on. So let's get started. Tell us a little bit about your background and kind of what led you here, the history of Springfield Distillery.
Okay, I'll take that one.
You need a background.
So, our family lived up in, just by coincidence, Springfield, Virginia. And James and I had day jobs that kept us pretty busy in that. And we knew that we were looking for a place that would be like our forever home at some point in time. And after much searching, we found Springfield, which we thought was kind of fate. And about the first year in to coming down just on weekends, we just fell in love with Halifax. We fell in love with the property and just really wanted this to be our full-time home. And so we decided to move down full-time. And James's family comes from a history of whiskey making and distilling spirits. And so we thought, what better way to make use of our spring water than to open a distillery, and that's how it happened.
So fun. And so you didn't always imagine owning a distillery.
Oh, good
then.
God, no.
No?
Oh, God, no.
So what did you think you were going to do?
No.
Like, did you, like, what were the plans? How did it happen?
I thought I was terrified to open a distillery because I didn't drink whiskey. I didn't drink any spirits, really. I mean, we were a beer family, and so I remember when we were walking through the pines before we developed it, and James said, let's open a distillery, and I thought, God, he is having a midlife crisis. Like, this is, like, we're in big trouble. And he said, no, this is safe. He goes, if you don't drink whiskey, this is safe. You know, we could do this. And we just started, toying with it, and we started, we wanted to do things very traditional to the history of Springfield. So we started with the corn whiskey because it would be most indicative of what would be historically accurate here. And I cried the day we did it because it was horrible for me. I could not drink corn whiskey. And so we just started aging it and adding flavors, and then got into the bourbon, and, it just became what we were really passionate and interested in. So
yeah, and if you look around, everyone watching and listening, you see all of the different flavors, and everyone that's been here, you can come, whether you like whiskey or bourbon or whatever it may be, they will make it taste good.
Yeah, there's something for everybody, and I think that's been kind of what I think Sarah is amazing at doing and running the tasting room, and just finding what people typically like, and if they don't want to taste the whiskey, that they can start, as our gateways, and then going into those that have the refined palate of the bourbon and sipping neat and the bottled and bond and all of that is just, it's really, there is definitely something for everyone. And now with the vodka, there's definitely something for everybody. So
yes, and you're celebrating a 7-year anniversary.
Yeah.
How amazing. We were kind of talking about it before we started recording, how it just flies by.
It does.
And you always have to be implementing new things to keep it fresh and keep people coming. And you have vodka now. I'm so excited. Tell me about this vodka.
Yeah, so vodka was definitely, I think, more up her alley. Like I said, growing up and stuff like that, especially she would do a bunch of,
Cosmos
big pictures of it. It was definitely what, we used to drink in college and stuff like that. I've definitely switched over more towards bourbon, but I can tell you that as not necessarily a vodka drinker, it is something that I would drink. It was very good cranberry juice, but yeah, we outsourced this one, got at a higher proof, so almost passed out a bit opening up that tank at 192 proof.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a little bit potent, but we got it back down to 80, and it's been pretty well received at first. But also it's just nice, the label and the name is after 3 of our past dogs, so it's just cool to look over and see them looking back at us. So
it's so cool, and now you're going to have more people come that have that stigma of the whiskey and bourbon. Now they know they can come get vodka, and that's really, really amazing. So it's just so awesome to watch you guys, and it truly is a family affair here.
It is.
And so, what is your favorite drink to make, and what do you like to do?
Because when I first started working here, I fell in love with the mint strawberry mule.
Uh-huh.
But now I just like brown sugar cinnamon on the rocks.
Okay.
I like the coffee drinks here. I love a good meal, but nothing beats brown sugar cinnamon to me.
Okay.
I could not get rid of that.
Yeah, it's funny watching you evolve too with doing this.
I mean, when I started working here, all I did was like Michelob or Truly, but now I'm just like, I just want our product.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll settle for other whiskeys, but definitely our product.
Yeah.
So amazing. Yeah. And that goes to say, because running a business is tough. Yeah. It's really tough, and it has its highs and its lows, and it's just a roller coaster at all times. And so, and being a family business, what 100%. Characteristics do you think you possess that have made you the most successful over these 7 years?
Well, you go first. I'll simmer on that one a little bit.
I think that for us, the family entity that we've created and that with this is what's so important is that we just with our line of work and our history with, our family's line of work, and that you keep your circles pretty small. And so for us in doing this, I think that, we live together, we work together, we drink together. I think that we've just really worked hard on maintaining that bond, and good communication is really key.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would have said is the communication aspect. I think just knowing each other so well, knowing how to communicate to convey certain messages. But I think also what works is when we're in the tasting room, people can tell we're not just, fellow employees. There's definitely a lot of chemistry coming in. I think people will tell right off the bat, Sarah and I are dating. Every now and then we'll get one person might ask for brother and sister, and we just kind of chuckle. We're like, no, not brother and sister, something like that. But yeah, I mean, I think we offer more than just a product here. We offer an experience, and like I said, there's a lot of chemistry involved, and there's a lot of people that we don't view as customers. We kind of start to view as friends over the years. So that's been not something I thought was going to happen, right? Yeah. That you would just develop relationships with people. But I mean, I think sitting around a bar is kind of how a lot of those relationships start for some people. So it's been very interesting experience, to say the least.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you feel it when you're here. If you come here on a weekend and you see everyone around and they're sitting at picnic tables and under the shed out there or the fireplaces, it's just a really welcoming environment. You have games going, and then you come in here and you get your drink. It is such a welcoming environment here, and you guys do such a great job at that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and lots of events too. You host events here.
Sometimes too many.
How many events do you host?
We haven't balanced that very well.
I feel like it really kind of just depends on the time of year. So we always joke that January and February are kind of the lull, dead period of the year, which we welcome, because August through December, really, I mean, if we look at our calendar, it's kind of like, it's easier to say when we don't have an event than when we do. So you'll have weekends where it's like, okay, half of us might be off-site an event, and then the other half here, and then it just kind of is a constant array. And even then, you're still open at the same time. So it can be a handful, but we always joke that, you'd rather be busy than idle, because when you're sitting here and no one's in here, you're kind of twiddling your thumbs a bit, being like, okay, where are people? But, luckily like I said, we always have, some regular customers, and then the events, we meet a lot of great people through that too. So
yeah,
it's worth it.
And it takes a lot of consistency, and I'm going to keep mentioning 7 years, because 7 years in business is no easy feat. And, there are a lot of people out here that want to start a business. They don't know where to start, and they're scared. Yeah. And what advice would you give someone that wants to start any business around this community?
Love what you do. You have got to be passionate about it and stay, true to your vision. I mean, regardless, we hear it all the time. I mean, I remember when we talked about opening the distillery, and even friends of ours that were like, oh, you guys this is such a bad move, and you really shouldn't do this and that. And, even if we had to close the doors tomorrow, I mean, I think that we've busted our butts to be here and to do this. You have to, when you own a business, as you know, there are no days off. You don't get to turn it off. And that's the difficult part, is you need to be prepared to work on a constant. I mean, it's just that. But when you love what you do, it does, like we always say, it's like when we go to do events and that, you got to keep it fun. You have to keep it fun, because you know, the highs and lows will wipe you out if you don't. I mean, you know, that'll definitely wear on you.
Well, we joke about it too, where it's like, you know, when you have an event on a Saturday, right, all week you're kind of not dreading it, but you're like, okay, I gotta pack, I gotta get it ready, we have to travel there, we have to set up. But the second you start, you kind of get in a groove of things, you like it, and by the time you're done, you're like, oh, it's over, you know. But then you have to like pack it back up, go home, unpack. So the before and the after, you know, those can add up, but the during's not too bad. But it's funny too, and you're saying, you know, like what you do and all that, you know, when we have customers come in, I want to like them, you know, like it's so much easier when everyone's just kind of, you know, vibing, having a good time. So, I mean, I want to like everybody that comes through. It's just kind of, you know, what happens type of thing, right? But yeah, I mean, it's, when you're in the groove of things, it's really fun. When people like it, it's awesome. When they don't like it, you know, that part sucks. But I mean, when you put yourself out there like that, it's bound to happen.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that. So when someone walks through these doors, they've never been here before. What experience can they expect? And what is that like on your side, saying, oh my gosh, how do I make all of this happen and, you know, give them what they want?
There's always, there's a lot of tells, you know, so I mean, Sarah's really good at it too. We're sitting here, right off the bat, you can kind of tell when someone's been here versus when they haven't been here. Normally there's about a 5-10 second period where they're looking at all the signs outside the door, and we're kind of like, okay, it's someone new, and there's a whole spiel walking through everything, because it is overwhelming. When you walk in here and you see, you know, 12, 13 different whiskeys, you're kind of just like, bear with us, we're going to walk you through everything, and then from there. And it's kind of funny, you'll see some people as if they've never, you know, had a drink before in their lives, right? Or some people were walking through it and they're like, nope, stop, I want that, you know? So I think we try to offer something for everybody, and especially now that we have the vodka, that introduces a whole new clientele. But yeah, I mean, like I said, you're kind of trying to sell them on more than just the product, but the experience. I think we do a very good job on selling them on the experience, and then the product, I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think it kind of speaks for itself. And because we have so many different ones, we always tell people, it's like, you're going to like one thing.
There's
it's just
something for
trying
everybody.
to get you there to like that one thing.
Yeah.
But we were saying earlier, the change, I mean, there's people that have come in here and, I mean, they couldn't even stand the smell of it, right? And then now, I mean, they're drinking stuff neat, old-fashioned. So talking about Sarah earlier, seeing her progression through it, I mean, seeing some of our customers, it's just, you can't help but laugh every now and then to think that they were just not up their alley at all, and then now, I mean, they want to try, you know, the 1897 neat. I mean, you got to do a double take almost, but
it sounds like you were on that same path too, so you can relate.
Oh yeah, I didn't drink whiskey. Did you drink whiskey before all this?
Mixed.
A little bit. Okay. I mean, not to just get.
Yeah.
You drank it.
Not
just because in college you drink it for the reason.
You'll take whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Because somebody handed it to you.
You still get customers like that, I'd say, you know, where you're kind of just trying to get them to appreciate the taste rather than the effects, you know, because I mean, a lot of people, I would say, want the effects of it, right? But then you get that group that they appreciate the taste, and then that's the ones that you can really you kind of get a little giddy. You're like, okay, well, I want you to try this, I want you to try that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's definitely, it's interesting. You really don't know who's going to walk through the door, you know, but then once you do know, then it kind of just tailors the experience.
And what does that mean to you? Because Springfield Distillery has become a staple in the community. It is on all of the guides. If tourists are in the area, they must come to Springfield Distillery. What does that mean to you all to have built something that is such a staple in Halifax County?
Defer to you on that one.
Wow. Well, you know, I think when we bought the place, it just kind of proves to that, like, you know, it'd be James and I'd be down here, or we'd have like 13 people here. And for us, this was just, the whole part of Springfield for us was something to share. Like, we didn't want to keep it to ourselves. Like, we just thought it was really important for everyone to be able to enjoy it as much as we do. And I think it's the same for the distillery. It's like, you know, we've been so incredibly fortunate over the years, you know, just with having this property, and then, you know, having Barnwood Builders come and do our cabin, and Getting, Mason going to outsides, and we've been really, I would say we've been really kind of cautious in what we were doing and rolling these things out because we didn't know anything about it, so we wanted to be really secure in that. But now that I think we have, Mason's won a ton of awards on the spirits, and people come specifically for cocktails that Sarah creates, and I think it's just all that communication again. I think it's just, starting with something and developing it and developing into those friendships and sharing it. And I just think it's been the community has embraced us. Like I was saying this the other day, it reminds me of the military upbringing for me. Like you became a family no matter what in the military. Like you had to, for police, for anybody in that environment, you meet people and you become a family because you're not around your family. And I feel like that has been what Springfield has come for us, is the family and the people. I mean, like just Sarah, who's going to become a family member soon, hopefully. And, other people in the community that we've met that have just embraced us and supported us in that. It reminds me a lot of my upbringing with the military and that, and I just think we're just very grateful. We're so grateful.
Well, we're grateful to have you in the community, and I want to know what your current goals are and what's to come for Springfield. You just released a vodka. You have this one here. What is this one? The 1897 bourbon whiskey.
Well, I kind of always joke, so she's talking about awards. So the Straight has placed second twice in a couple different events. So I always joke, I'm like, second's nice, but, seeing a first up there wouldn't be too bad, right? But I think it's just going to
I love it.
Come over time, I mean, like she was saying, we didn't really know what we were doing when we started out. And 7 years for a business, that might be a long time. But 7 years for bourbon, I mean, that's nothing. You have bottles that are twice as old as that, right? So I think over time it'll get better. And the Bottle and Bond, for a reference, people are complimenting so much. I'm like, it's just a time thing, If this is what we're capable of in 4 years, I mean, let's see what we're doing, 6, 8, 10. Yeah. So I think it's just an over time thing. I think as long as we just can, keep making it, and we'll see ourselves in another 7 years and what we have to show for it. But the name of the game for bourbon's time, so it's really just progressing and
waiting it out.
Waiting period, and it's a long period. I mean, I always joke, when people ask about, I'm giving a tour and the production, I'm like, it takes 8-9 days to make it, and then you put it away for at least 2 years, for our Straight, and I'm like, I'll see you in 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
Wow.
You have to have a lot of patience.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're not very good at that. Any of
you
us.
just put it on the back burner. I'm like, okay, I'll see you in 2 years, type thing. So.
Yeah, the 4 year was really long. It's like basically, imagine going to university. I mean, Mason went to the University of Bottled and Bond Bourbon. I mean, waiting 4 years to get that degree, that certification, or the.
Wow.
It's tough. It's
long. Tough. And then it's so rewarding when that time does come, though. And you're going to get it first.
Yeah.
You're going to get it first place.
He will.
Even if we have to make our own competition for it, we can get it first. I mean, one day.
Everyone gets a trophy.
Yeah, we're all winners here.
Yeah.
And the holidays are here. So, if people want to give this as gifts, where can they get it? I know you're in stores now, and so tell everyone what you have going on this holiday season and how they can get this product in their hands.
Well, the good part about the tasting room is that we can ship. So we can ship anywhere in the state of Virginia, $12 regardless of how many bottles.
Awesome.
So that makes it super easy. It can be shipped right to your door. So if you have been here and need a replenishment, or you want to gift it or that, it's super easy for us to do that. We also have several products that are shippable to all but 8 states. It goes through a store in DC, and then they're able to ship because we're not allowed to ship out of state. And then the tasting room, I mean, it is our busiest time. The holidays are by far, November and December, our best months, and we do lots of really fun events. We have a big Black Friday event coming up. We have one this weekend with that we're partnering with Whisters, and that was one of the things I would say is that the partnerships that we've developed with the different companies, with you guys, with Whisters, with the restaurants here that are supporting our products, and that the community has really supported us. And so just by word of mouth, people coming in, and they can come and they can purchase, and we can make arrangements to ship or do whatever they need us to do for it. Deliveries.
I
pretty
know I'm
easy.
going to be making some purchases
Yeah.
today, and this is great gifts. And one of the questions we ask on every podcast is if you could have dinner with one living person outside of your family, who would it be? But I'm going to switch it today because you have lots of people walk in here. And so if you could have anyone in the world walk through these doors to have a drink with you, who would it be? It's a tough one. Who would you love to have a drink with?
Mimi, probably.
Yeah.
My mom.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
The first one that popped in my head is the one who beat us in a single barrel, but he's not living, but Uncle Nearest. I'd love to know how he, did all that he did for it. So that would be a really cool one.
Too many people, I think.
Yeah.
My brain immediately goes, different athletes, actors, stuff like that. Maybe people that if they liked it could help support it type thing.
I love that.
This is all about marketing.
Business-minded. I love this.
Who could best
Who
support
would
us?
you like to rep the brand?
Oh gosh.
Who would you like your
Oh, Mace,
influencer
who
to
would
be?
you? That's a good question.
I don't even know at this point. You look at different people, and it's kind of funny. Like, by no means are we on par with them, but you look at like The Rock and like Ryan Reynolds, like they're all introducing their own products and stuff like that, and you're like, well, that's pretty cool, something like that. There's too many. I can't focus on it right now. Anyone
maybe
really.
That's the future.
Yeah.
That's the future.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see who it is.
Yeah,
and
me
like
too.
you said, you never know who's gonna walk through the door.
That's
So-
true.
I think for me, it's the people that walk in that are just so negative when they walk in and they're like, I don't drink whiskey, I don't do this, and then
We're
Sarah's
sorry.
like,
Yet.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Sarah's like, game on, because she is just the master at creating stuff and
I'm just
people.
like, what do you drink? Like, do you drink wine? Like, what are you, like, when you go to the bar, what do you get? And I'm just like, I can make you anything, but if you don't like it, I'll take it and drink it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I love that.
I'll just keep trying until I find you something that you want.
Yeah.
So,
I think turning over those people, or to us,
Yeah.
it's like
a challenge.
it's the
to
best
run.
feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when people come in here and they either they know what they want, or they're whiskey bourbon enthusiasts. That's it's not hard to please them, but it's definitely the people that maybe they got dragged along as a spouse or a friend or something like that, and then they come in and they have like a little bit of stank face going on when they walk in, and you're kind of just like, okay, well, the rest of you are going to be easy, but I'm going to tailor this to you a little bit, and you can't always make them happy. And there are times where obviously I don't walk in and people don't walk in and go like, hey, I'm the distiller, stuff like that. I kind of let that come out over time. And there are times when they're in here and it's kind of like they forget their manners at home, and they walk in and they're like, oh, I don't like that, or like, oh, that's terrible, or they scoff and stuff like that. And then you're kind of like, well, don't make me fall in love with you, like you're just making me gonna try even harder now.
Yeah.
So when you convert those people, you kind of can't help but be a little smug about it, because you're like, you came in with such a negative attitude that to get you to even like it a little bit, let alone, if they buy a bottle, it's kind of just like hallelujah. You could have nobody else come in through the day, but if you convert one person, because it's not just for our own sake, but there's a whole industry out there that, I always relate it to food. It's like when you discover a new food and you're like, how did I go without this my whole life? The people that don't necessarily love bourbon, maybe they had a bad experience or something like that, to open up the door and be like, hey, if this brings forth a good time for you, it might not even be us, but at least, we got you there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that do come in here that aren't necessarily thrilled about being here, and it's just kind of like, well, even if you don't like it, let's at least, turn your day around.
Yeah.
Yes.
Provide a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you do that on a regular basis. You
Sometimes.
are all doing amazing things, and I can't wait to see what the next 7 years have in store. Congratulations on your 7-year anniversary
Thank
of
you so
Springfield
much.
Distillery. We're proud to have you in the community. I'm excited that you allowed us to come in here today and film and get to know you a little better. And I hope everyone enjoyed this as much as I did. And come to Springfield Distillery this holiday season and beyond, because they have amazing things happening. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Rogers Radio Podcast. We will talk to you next week. Bye!